Oh,
this is what we're talking about. I also have the banner out.
Yeah, that's great.
I was really hoping I had put the banner in the loft, but I hadn't, so that was good.
That's good. Bonus. Yeah, quickly got it. Yeah, I've got one of the signed ones that we got from the launch thing, which is.
I still have one signed copy left, which occasionally when we're doing a crowdfund, I think, shall I put it in or shall I hang on to
it? Yeah, you never know, do you?
So outcome. Where did the idea come from? What got you started?
The start of it. Well, I remember like being at college and doing photography. I always we did portraiture, but it wasn't like a big thing for me. It wasn't something I was quite comfortable doing. I guess I was quite shy as a young person, not out myself, so that probably added to it. So I just liked taking pictures of landscape, subject matters that didn't talk back to me, anything that I could just do myself, And then, growing up, I realized, no, I need to get out there. I need to take more photos. So I need a concept. I don't just want to take pictures for picture's sake. And I think I've just been talking to a friend about coming out and like the whole, like it gets better idea that, you tell the next generation or the young person that you'll be fine. It's a big wide world and you'll find your place. And it kind of, things started, like ticking in the brain that could be something. And I wanted to then first do something that just looked at stereotypes and actually that LGBTQ people are in every facet of day-to-day life. And I think at the time, maybe still now, people still have a perception of what a gay person is or what a trans person is or what a lesbian does for a living. So I wanted to break that down a little bit. And then just adding the childhood picture was a nod to a viral thing that was going on, the Throwback Thursday, where people shared old pictures of themselves. So I kind of linked the two together to show, visually show this is the person I was, this is the person I'm now, I'm out, I'm proud, I'm doing something, I've gone past that awkward phase, and I'm just getting on with life, really. So in a nutshell, it's quite a simple idea, but once you start adding portraits and adding different professions represented or different passions that people have, you start to see that the LGBTQ community is vast and we're everywhere. It was kind of that idea that got the ball rolling, and then just going about it from social media. And I think we connected through an arts listing website,
the Arts Council site.
Arts Council, so different things like that I could just put a call out on there for anyone that's interested to take part. And I remember our little portrait session, even back then, like I knew that a portrait you could do that in 5 minutes. It's almost like a mugshot. You walk in, snap, and walk out again.
It took ages, didn't it?
we spent ages.
How many different ways to hold a pile of books?
I know. Well, who knew? There are many ways. But it was, I think, partly my sort of beginner in portraiture. It's like, well, I need to take loads, so I've got a shot in there, so I need to take enough. Then I also thought, these people are coming from all over London and beyond. I don't want them to travel all this way just for 5 minutes. So that seems ridiculous. So add some more pictures in. And then also when you're in the situation, taking the pictures and you're chatting and you're trying something else and maybe moving things around, it does eventually take a bit of time. But having said that, I'm glad, because your portrait, and I know we're talking now, so it's not just because I'm talking to you, but I actually generally really like your portrait. It's fresh, it's engaging, it's happy, it's calm.
I hate pictures of me, and I love that picture.
Yeah. So it's so that hour or whatever it was worth it at the end. But over time, like that session got shorter and shorter as I got more confident that I didn't need all that time. I knew what I was doing, and my patter with people became better. So it was a really like big learning curve in terms of photographically, but also person to person chatting, small talk you know, master at small talk.
Having your subject speak back to you. Oh my God.
No.
You're over that now, are you?
Yeah. So, you know, doing a project which at the start was for the audience, for them to get something out of. I've got so much from doing it, as a person, as a gay person, as a photographer, which, you know, all facets of me. I don't think anyone is just that one thing. So it's good to show different sides of people. And so we sort of stayed in touch. I remember, you know, we had a coffee and a chat at it was the Albany Theatre, wasn't it? Cafe. Yeah. When we first sort of mentioned a book idea, which I kind of knew that there was.
I explained myself while we were actually doing the photographs, but I was thinking this would make such a good book. Oh God, I couldn't possibly afford to do colour, but it makes such a good book.
I know, but also you weren't. You'd not done like a picture book before. No. I suppose there was that difference for you as well.
Yeah, but it's scary.
Uncharted territory. But like I knew commercially there was like an aspect of a book or some kind of like portfolio, an online resource or something where everyone can see the portraits, because the idea was that everyone would see them, and young people and old who hadn't come out could see them and see the different role models and pick themselves out in like the broad range of portraits. So I kind of knew there was something there, but I kind of just kept on taking pictures, going to different Pride events or, you know, different business events, and taking more portraits, and they slowly built up.
Was it easy I mean, was the call out effective? Were you overwhelmed, or were you having to constantly chase people?
It was a bit of both. I think at first I sort of collected a group of 5 people that I approached to get like almost like a test shoot, but then also to have portraits to then show other people and say, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to be part of this? Do you want to do your outcome portrait? So from that, it became easier because I had a point of reference. Generally, though, on social media, if I did a call out, the people that replied were people in like a visual platform already. So influencers, dancers, models.
So they knew what you were talking about. Yeah.
Knew what I was talking about, knew the kind of social media aspect of pictures, and it was very visual and very engaging. But it was harder to find like corporate people, people like day-to-day office people or emergency services, or, you know, different to find a sort of example. So I then needed to then kind of target different ethnic groups as well, just to have like a good broad spectrum of the community and actually represent it for what it is. So I did have to start target, but then you'd be surprised, you know, as soon as you contact one person, that person knows 5 other people that would be good.
I mean, I think I referred at least five people that actually ended up in the book. Many more that I was prodding and saying, you should do this, who sort of said, and then didn't. But
no, I've got a long list of people that were up for it, and then timings just didn't match, or things happen, and that's the way it is. But then from that as well, it's like, it's not in terms of celebrity or known faces, I like to think. There are some known, recognizable people in there, but I tried to steer clear of like the celebrity endorsement kind of angle, and it was all people that actually were prevalent in LGBTQ equality, or people that, you know, actually do something themselves for equality and campaigning. So
give back.
I'd like to think I've got balance.
Yes, and we were saying all along, weren't we, once we started working on it together, that it's celebration, not celebrity.
Exactly.
And, you know, we don't care what you do, but we want to know what you do.
Exactly. And
I really think that having the childhood pictures in it just makes it, because there's a dialogue across time going on. It's not just, oh yeah, that's a nice picture, or he's quite attractive, or whatever it is that's going on in the viewer's head. It's okay, this is about something. And look how far they've come, or he hasn't changed a bit. You know?
I know some of them, and
How
also
could
some of them there's
ever have thought this person was straight?
oh yeah, no, a lot of people would show me their childhood picture and say the signs were there. You know, you can see what I was destined to become. But one of the portraits in the book somewhere, I should have bookmarked it. But there's a guy who does dance and has learned ballet, but his childhood photo is of him, almost looks like he's doing a ballet dance move against the banisters, and it's sort of so poetic that he grew into the adult that was sort of foreseen. And I can't find. Oh, there it is. There we go. So it's
Oh yeah.
So it's almost like doing a little dance pose. But yeah, and also for the participants, it was fun for them to go through all the old family photos and pick their favorite one, because it was up to them which one they chose. It was engaging for them.
Yes, one of the ones, because she's a friend of mine, that I particularly remember is Sheila coming up with her picture. So that's going, it's got to be this one.
Yeah, I think she's near towards the back of the book. There we go. Yeah.
And this sneaky green. There was one of her in a nurse's uniform, and she did work as in social services. I'm not sure she was actually ever a nurse, but and that was kind of cute and very of its time. But there was just something about that grin.
Yeah.
Since we're being given a choice, Sheila, this one.
And talking of Sheila as well, you reminded me also yourself that the amount of people that actually came forward and said, this is good, I want to be part of this, but I don't like having my picture taken. So as a photographer kind of new to portrait, I was like, oh no, what?
How do I get someone at ease when I'm not?
Yeah. So that was a massive learning curve, and actually, thankfully, Sheila's is, in my opinion, a great portrait as well. She looks calm, happy, enthusiastic, but also not like deer in the headlights kind of thing. So
yeah, absolutely.
So there's quite a few people that wasn't too keen on being photographed, but did it anyway, which is I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
So that was a mini challenge. But.
Yeah, I think that's very much how I felt about it. That this was a really important thing to do, and I was thinking, God, because I'm a photographer myself, and that was so I could be behind the camera. Yeah. And I know that's you as well, isn't it? It's behind the camera, then you can't be in front of it.
I can control my image.
So I get that absolutely. Are there any particular favourites? Any particular ones that you go, that one just pins it down? This is what I was after when I started this project.
Yeah, if I can find it in the book. So like an example would be like Libby Rose.
Yeah.
She's jolly, happy, but also that the portrait, she has her one of her creations there on a mannequin. She's got her sewing band around her neck. So it really visual clues to this is who I am. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm out. This is what I do for a living. You can do it too, kind of thing, or you can do whatever you want to do. So that really sort of describes the idea behind the portrait. Also, there's Phil. He's a cabaret performer who's got bejeweled outfit, a corset, and these big feathers, and it's just a really
one. Yes.
Really,
that one gets a lot of comment when we took it on tour, didn't it?
Yes, yeah, that was all. Yeah, I mean it's eye-catching.
It certainly is, and also it's the way he's looking at you. It's like this.
But that's the thing. I know I said earlier about.
It's the sort of thing that could potentially be a bit iffy, but it absolutely isn't.
Yeah.
Because
because
of that expression.
Stereotype. The stereotypes of a gay person could be theatrical and theatre lovey or
cross-dressing.
An exhibitionist or that kind of thing. And some people don't like that. It was cabaret performers, but that's part of the community. That's part of
we weren't good
people's fabric. Yeah, exactly. So drag queens feature quite a bit, and one of my fun ones was photographing one of the drag queens who I met at her house, and then walked in full drag, not me, her, to my little studio through Greenwich with lots of people looking at and then you got a great portrait. So yeah, little things like that. It makes it fun. Each session completely different, you know.
Yeah. And one of the things that we had with this was, because you very firmly said LGBT, and I said fine, find as many trans people as you can who are prepared to acknowledge their childhood picture, because it's a huge issue.
Yeah, no, exactly. And
we actually had one person who just came up with a blank piece of paper, didn't we?
Yeah, didn't want to show their childhood self.
Had got any.
Yeah, which kind of, at first I thought, no, the childhood picture, it's all part of the dialogue. But then immediately thinking, well, because if you don't have your childhood picture because you ran away from home, or because you don't identify with the child you were, it's still relevant to say you get over that. You come out, you become who you are now as an adult, and you're obviously relevant. So that they get included with a blank card. They're still holding a card as if, you know, I was a child.
And it was
at
that point that we decided we needed to have sort of biographical details, so that they weren't anonymous people, and so that we could explain those anomalies where the audience might just go, does not compute, and which of course doubled the size of the book, but never mind. That was okay, because I didn't really want to have images back to back, because then we would have had to have even thicker paper because of not showing
technically for printing.
So the technicalities of it would have just been a minefield. And actually, I think it really adds something that people are not anonymous. It's not just the crowd. These are specific people.
Yeah. And also, it's like I'm a very visual person. I can get a story from a picture. I can create a story from a picture, but some people like words. So it's got, you know, bit for everything, for the visual people and the words people.
It's marketing, can't we, Tom?
It's ready, but it is true. You know, I've always thought pictures to me speak, you know, as they say, 1,000 words, which is true. But for others, you know, they need a description or a little nudge with some information. So yeah, I think it works really well.
Yeah, and of course, one of the most exciting things about this was, because it was so expensive to do, we had to do a crowdfund, and the crowdfund actually became part of the project. We found people who wanted to be photographed because we did the crowdfund. We found people who helped us get exhibition space because of the crowdfund. And you know, I'd done a crowdfund before and it had failed, and so I was a bit sort of about it. And you go, it'll be fine. And there we were, 5 days in, and we'd already hit the target. And then we dumped it. Okay. And if I had a successful crowdfund before that, I would have just said, right, we'll make the book cheaper to buy using that money, because then we can sell more. Didn't occur to me. It was just, let's have a bigger party. Which we did. The party was amazing.
Yes, the launch that we put together at the University of Greenwich, it was amazing. I was a bit daunted by it because I had to give a speech, which as soon as that was out of the way, it was absolutely fine. But actually having all the portraits, all the ones that are in the book, and more, printed 50 by 40 centimeters, and stuck all around the wall. It was quite, you walked in the room and it was like, whoa, there's all these people looking at me. So that was really fun to see, and that spurred me on that, you know, it just needs to keep adding to it, you know.
And seeing them all up on the wall actually really knocked home that no background thing of everybody being against a white screen, because if there'd been background, it just wouldn't have read as a room full of pictures. And instead of which, it was immediately obvious. People. What a lot of people. These are all LGBT. Really, gosh, and because I invigilated it because we were worried about damage, and because that gallery was a room through which people went to get to a lecture hall, I got a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
And some of it wasn't actually verbal or directed to me. It was just people talking to each other, or just the way they looked as they went through. And that was fascinating. And there were one or two people who were very upset with it. Very upset. And I was doing LGBT history 101 for people for quite a while. Well, darling, like this. So that
also during that week, a couple of days I was there with me like pop-up studios wanted to take part, which people did as well. And a couple of times people was like, oh, can I be involved in this? And I was taken aback because I didn't think they knew what it was exactly. So it's LGBTQ plus people. Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm gay, or I'm this and that.
Part of it was like, sorry, no can do.
So again, that's also affirming that someone wants to take part from seeing your work and wanting to be part of it. And then obviously we then took it on tour, took the book, launched it, exhibited in different cities as well. And then, because obviously it was a very London-based thing, because that's where I'm.
It was great getting to Sheffield, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's fun, really fun to put it somewhere else, somewhere I'd never been before. Meeting all these new people that wanted to either help, link me with the right person, bring you up as well, or the books and your choir and other authors from Arachne Press. So welcoming and fun. It made me feel like a real fully fledged photographer on the road.
We did. I mean, I've lost track how many times the exhibition went up, because we had it in several places at once, because the huge advantage of it being photographs. Over LGBT History Month the following February, I think it was up in 5 different places at once. Libraries around London and Brighton and
down in Horsham as well, in Kent, Lancaster, and then Sheffield,
and loads of. What was really nice was the way people were really engaging with it. We were getting the Mayor of Croydon coming and doing a talk, and libraries from Harrow to goodness knows where. So yes, we'll have that. And can we have this as part of something else that we're doing about LGBT history, or whatever it was, that particular?
Connected. Well, I did a small stall with some portraits that I put up in it was Lewisham Council were doing a elders day, where like the elderly generation were invited to come along for just some seminars and chats, and I was at the back of the hall with my portraits, and at lunchtime they came round and got their sandwiches but also looked at my work. And I remember thinking, well, the older generation not maybe as they're a bit more traditional, shall we say. So I wasn't sure how they were going to accept it. And I was blown away by everyone just, oh, and I remember one woman said, oh, well, love is love, isn't it? I was like, yes, it is. And another man who said that his uncle, he probably thought was gay, but never came out. And you think everyone's got a connection or a story with the community. And I think we give a lot of people a hard time that they're not as accepting, because we just assume they're not going
to. We're making assumptions just the same as we think they do.
So that was interesting, and fun. It was a good day. I stayed a bit longer than I needed to.
So what have you been doing since? I mean, I know you've gone on adding to the Outcome project, because I see things pop up on Twitter and places periodically.
So I did. Obviously, then we toured the exhibition, took more photos for it, and the book, was out and about. But then as a commercial photographer, I needed to make some money. So then I started to go quite strong into event and now proposal photography, which is quite high up on my list of things that I do.
I've written a short story based on the fact that you do that, because it really struck me as, what happens if the girl says no? And then I thought, what happens if in the course of going around the London Eye, you get as far as the top and you realise actually you don't want to propose, and there's you all ready to take the pictures.
Well, also on the Eye, I've got my uniform as if I work at the Eye, as if I'm just someone to serve champagne or whatever.
To be there,
and then I get the camera out just as the guy gives me the nod, and I have it by my I have it by my back and start taking pictures. But I have had 2 proposals that the guy didn't ask. We went all the way around.
You just couldn't get the nerve up.
Didn't ask the question, and I couldn't ask afterwards because the girl was still there. What happened? And I also have had one where she said no.
Do you still get paid if they don't ask?
Yes, because I was there. I was ready to do the job. But yeah, so that's been good. But I do proposals with another company called The Proposers, but all over London. So that's been good. Obviously, not done any since the beginning of March, which is
difficult for you, hasn't it?
Scary. Everything, just stopped straight away. Which actually, then I've used my time then to go back to some of the old work that I've done. So I've been resharing the outcome portraits on Twitter, sharing the link to the book, sharing, to link to the person, tag the person that's in it. And just again, to get the visual representation, like I think of them as visual role models for LGBTQ people, just out there. So even if no one clicks on the link, they just see a picture of someone that, they could grow up to be, or that they know, or, so I've been doing that, and then also re-editing other portrait shoots that I've done or event pictures, also to then try and target the event companies again and say, when you're ready to work,
when you're ready,
I'm here. I'm here.
Yes, I shared your tweet about, well, if you're planning on reopening, it'd be really good to have some pictures of how wonderfully you're managing your social distancing in your shop. I'm ready and available.
I'm here, I'm ready to cycle over straight away. Which I've been doing a lot of cycling lately. Just any kind of like photographic thing to pass the time. Selfies are always good just to test out ideas or different things. I've been doing some of that. And just being ready. Also, annoyingly, like just before the lockdown started, I was getting quite confident at wedding photography. I'd done a few small scale weddings, which I thought, this is going to be my little niche. Yes, small wedding. Yes, I can do that. And I did. And I just, I was pleased with the photos. The couples were pleased with the photos. And I was just about to do one in April, but that was cancelled because of the impending lockdown. So I'm hoping that small weddings can restart and I can get in there and start getting behind the camera, because I've missed actually being behind the camera and doing new stuff. But also so I can start earning some money.
Earning some money would be nice, wouldn't it?
That would be good. And also just like from this conversation, thinking, I need to reignite and do some more portraits of this, because even if like in here there's a few drag queens, or there's a few people also, through your connections as well, and you think, well, it's just because I've got 3 of one, or one of one other profession, doesn't mean I need to stop. Everyone actually has a story and something to say. So
maybe there's a project there around NHS staff and other first line people who are also LGBT.
Actually,
it'd be a nice project. At the point you can actually get them in front of a camera.
Funny enough,
the pictures of people with masks on is going to be a bit weird, isn't it?
Everyone, and sunglasses, everyone will look the same. Recently, though, I did see, some photographers have been photographing healthcare workers. It's an interesting concept, and then it breaks.
It's an interesting project anyway. But if you can then bring the LGBT thing into it,
so
that people recognise how important we are.
Yeah.
You know, it's I mean, you know, there are a lot of us in the arts, and part of the issue always has been that people who are in the arts are more likely to put themselves forward for a project like this because they'll get it. And if you start with a few people in the arts, the people they know are also in the arts. Because I was desperately trying to find you people who weren't also writers, because it gets dull. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this, but the
people that you don't necessarily can connect with because you're in a different sector. To pinpoint them, because actually thinking about it, healthcare workers.
Got an anaesthetist, didn't we? We have an anaesthetist.
Anaesthetist and a radiographer.
And a radiographer. Maybe that's what I mean. Maybe I'm muddling it.
Yeah, Tom Dolphin. Doctor and trade unionist, anaesthetist. Yeah. But yeah, it'd be good to have paramedics and nurses, midwives, and all sorts.
Bin men.
Yeah.
I think the bin man and woman has been hopelessly underappreciated.
Yeah,
so I have to say, as soon as it started being locked down, I was thinking, okay, who are we going to rely on most? Funeral directors, bin men. We've got to keep that going, otherwise there'll be a whole lot of other diseases. Yeah, I'm good at Armageddon.
Well, at the very beginning,
plan an Armageddon for you, no problem.
Well, at the beginning, me and Steve went out to the shops and got what was left on the shelf, but you know, what we call zombie food. If there was a zombie apocalypse, we'd be able to live hopefully for a while. So tinned stuff, dry food and things. So we got all that in and prepared, but we've both been
cat food and that, okay. Never bought cat food in huge quantities.
You never know when you might get stuck indoors, quarantined, and you need it. Going forward, the more outcome, and obviously more sharing of the portraits on Twitter, which I think is sort of grasped up, but also Instagram. So it's at outcome LGBT, and I'm at Tom Dingley photo. And just sharing on there, and then just seeing what can come from it, because it is a simple idea. It's just you and your childhood photo, white background, and if it's not white, I can just cut it out on Photoshop. And it's very
in what you wear for work, whatever that is.
You represent your profession or even a hobby or a passion of yours, because even if you have a job that you don't really care for, shall we say, there's still a part of you that
or indeed retired. I mean, because you took a picture of Alex in her bird walking outfit, didn't you? I could wave a piece of chalk at you, but that's not going to be exciting.
But then also, was it Tony as well? I photographed.
Oh, playing the piano.
Playing the piano, because she wanted to show that side of her. Yeah, Susan was one of my favorites as well, because it was my first kind of like person in uniform.
And she was so totally comfortable doing that in uniform, because her job was LGBT liaison and all of that jazz. And so there was never going to be anybody at the police station saying, I don't think you should do this. And it was, yes, get out there.
Because I'd spoken to a friend of a friend who was a policeman, and he was told he couldn't be photographed. And I think it was linked to a law passed a while back, terrorism laws, about photographing the police.
There is not photographing people in uniform about their job, but I think off the streets, I think that's probably fine. But people can be a bit pedantic about these things.
But I'm glad to have emergency services in there.
It's a lovely book. I'm very proud of it.
Me too. It feels good as well. The cover, I love the cover. And I love the little faces poking out from the letters as well.
This is something I do a lot, actually, with most of the Solstice Shorts covers are cut out the letters and something coming through from the other side. But this was the first I did like that, and I thought, this works. I'm going to do this more.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, striking, because it gives you, it is basically a little window into what's in the book.
Exactly.
Yeah, all different people.
Yeah.
And think about it, I've met so many people from doing this that also then links to other things, you know, for event photography or other photography that people remember me because of doing outcomes. So it's also beneficial in that respect.
And a lot of the people who were in it were so supportive in terms of ordering copies and suggesting places for exhibitions and more people to photograph, and it really felt like a bit of a community. And when we were launching it, I was linking to everybody's Twitter so they could retweet it, but I'm actually still in contact with some of those people, despite the fact I never met them. And I mean, like Anna. Now I'm going to forget.
Oh, I know who you mean.
Anna of the Amazing Fringe. Where is she?
Anna West. Anna, this one.
Yeah. We communicate quite a bit on Twitter and Facebook because she's always putting up stuff about art and things, and we have a little confab about a particular picture or where it's come from or how she's doing. And
but that's also that social media in a way, so it's almost like it's little outcome social media bubble that you can connect to each other.
What do I want to call it? Is that who's who?
Yeah. in the community.
The LGBT world. Go and find us on Twitter. Go on.
Yeah. But it's also good because then everyone also, like you say, tagging people in things on social media, then they can retweet, and people did, you know, retweet the link, and we did this thunderclap. You remember that, where we got everyone to sign up to it, and I can't remember the amount of tweets that went out and then the amount of audience from it, but it was
huge.
Big number.
Which is the point of the thunderclap thing. Because it's one of those, I think I set it quite low because I wasn't sure what would happen, because you have to say we're committing to X number, and I think the lowest you could do was 100, and I was thinking, well, that's a bit of an ask, but actually
it did very well. What do you have birthday wise plans for Arachne Press?
I'm having
videos, and then anything in particular on the day?
Technically, our anniversary is actually 28th of July, but we have published Arachne 8th Anniversary Anthology.
Oh, cool.
Spider harmed in the making of this book. An anthology of spider lit for Arachne's 8th anniversary. And because spiders and 8th, so this is published on the 8th of August, 8th the 8th.
Brilliant. Yeah.
We're having an online launch at 8 o'clock on the 8th of the 8th. Of course we are. 8th anniversary, so going for it. This all came about because I was watching Lady Hale do her annihilation of the government, and she was wearing this wobbly spider badge. And I thought, I want one of those. And then brain started ticking, and I thought, it's almost like one of those really cliched things that happen in B movies: spider. So I thought, oh my God, it's her 8th anniversary. We have to do a spider book. And this book is actually dedicated to her.
Oh, brilliant.
With her permission. So I've been exchanging emails with Lady Hale, which is very cool.
Amazing.
And so, this is the official celebration, but there's going to be a video, I hope, every day through August. Although quite a few people who have said, yes, I'll do that, haven't yet got back to me about when.
Oh, cool.
Aside from more potential outcome and weddings, any other photographic ambitions yet to be achieved?
Big question. I'm not sure, actually. I don't immediately. I don't think so. I've seen like other portrait or photographic work that others have done online and think, oh, I could, might be fun to replicate or, be inspired by. So there's always ideas going on about doing different things. But in terms of like a new project or anything like that, I'm not sure yet. But having said that, next week you might all of a sudden there's something new, like got it, eureka kind of
You'll
thing.
be watching somebody on television and go, oh my god, like I did.
Yeah.
Why have I not thought of this?
Yeah. So there's always like the creative side of me wants to bubble out, then the conceptual side of me wants to put a description on something visually. And then the business person says, no, concentrate on getting back out there and doing, making money. Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean,
so I'm sure the fact that you did Outcome has helped you to get commercial jobs, hasn't it not?
Oh yeah, no. Immediately, like the first kind of event stuff was linked to, it was like LGBTQ events in business. The different business companies remember me, and I even did one where I took the digital slideshow that you created, and had that on in the background, said a few words about it, and then they did their LGBT History Month event and I photographed it. So it was kind of like the best of all worlds. So yeah, the Outcomes definitely introduced me to different work, different people, and
so the creative stuff doesn't have to be instead of commercial, it's in order to get commercial.
Yeah, exactly. It's always it's an outlet at first for ideas, but there's always connecting with people, and even if it's a picture of flowers, say, or something that's not connected to people, when you put it online, if people like it, there's that connection there, and it's up to you whether you latch on and create an online relationship with someone, or connect through, get involved in whatever they're doing for different work. So yeah, there's always connections to be made from creative work into commercial. And then the other way around as well, or if not, it's just a good exercise.
Yeah, well, it's keeping your skills honed, isn't it?
Yeah. It can you can sort of get into a lull and not do anything, and even though you should be doing something, it's like exercise. You think I should go for a run, don't feel like doing it. I think creativity is the same kind of thing. It's, you either feel it and you think, right, I'm gonna do it. I feel good. And other days, nothing comes. But I think that's lockdown more than anything.
Yeah. I found lockdown, everything is taking about 8 times longer than it normally would. I mean, editing the spider book. Normally, once it's actually typeset and I'm going through and checking for things, and actually the typesetting usually takes me about 2 days. It took me 2 weeks. I just was incapable of deciding on the order things should be in.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling.
Or just brain freeze. And I was getting really quite distressed about it, because come on, you've got time limits on this. It's got to be ready for and I need to get it to the proofers, and it just couldn't. I was just finding my brain just going after a bit. And
you're not the only one.
Yeah, reading stuff for Solstice Shorts, I had to read everything twice because I didn't trust my judgment. Everything's rubbish. It's, oh god, I can't be bothered. Useless.
Yeah.
Think, come on, can't all be.
And then
really can't. You're just in a really bad mood. Just put it away.
It's reassuring when you hear other people say that, because at first you think it's just yourself that's feeling sort of moping about and not being able making a decision is I don't know. Decision
making in coronavirus is just so
crazy.
Difficult.
So
difficult.
Yeah, but we'll get there.
When I do have a good idea, I don't trust it. It's probably a rubbish idea. Oh, it's going to take too long. It's going to be too much effort. I can't be bothered. It's a good idea. So I am going to do it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to do something. I will do it. Yeah. No, it's been fun.
Go get on with celebrating your birthday, shouldn't I?
Thank you very much. Yeah, and you preparing for yours. Getting more videos. Yeah, and if you want to ever talk about proposals for short stories, I've got loads of stuff.
I bet you have.
Loads. Fun, yeah, cringy, but romantic as well, depending on what you like.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
Cool. Thank you very much. Good talking.
Lovely to speak to you.
Yeah, and see you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.